You are the master of your fate. Let's begin. I want you to listen to me very carefully. There are two kinds of people in this world. And no, it's not the rich and the poor. It's not the educated and the uneducated. It's not even the lucky and the unlucky, because luck, my friend, is a myth created by those who quit too soon. The two kinds of people in this world are those who live from the outside in, and those who live from the inside out. One survives, the other commands. One sees life as happening to them. The other sees life as happening through them. Now let me ask you something. Which one are you? Because if you feel tired, defeated, distracted, if you find yourself waking up without fire, dragging your feet, complaining about how things are, then I'll tell you what nobody else will. You've been hypnotized by the outside world. And unless you wake up, unless you reclaim your mind, the world will keep feeding you thoughts, emotions, limitations, and you'll keep calling it reality. But there's another way. I know it because I studied it. I saw it in Carnegie. I saw it in Ford. I saw it in Edison. These were men who had every excuse to fail and still found a way to rise, not because they were more talented, but because they discovered the greatest power available to man, a positive mental attitude. Now let me be clear. This is not some cute optimism. This isn't painting sunshine on a collapsed roof and calling it fine. No, what I call a positive mental attitude is a spiritual discipline. It's the decision, day by day, moment by moment, to take back command of your inner world, because that's the only place success is ever built. It is the only known antidote to defeat, and the only consistent fuel for achievement. If you learn to master your thoughts, to direct your mind instead of being directed by it, you will change your entire life. That is a law. It is as real as gravity, and you don't need permission. You don't need the economy to be right. You don't need your friends to support you. You don't need your past to have been perfect. All you need is this, a moment of decision. The moment you stop waiting for motivation, for comfort, for life to hand you the right tools, and instead say, I own my attitude, I lead my mind, I build my world. From that moment forward, you have entered the ranks of the rare. And let me tell you something, those ranks are open. They are not gated by wealth, not protected by education, not reserved for the privileged. They are open to whoever dares to discipline their mind and fuel it with purpose. So now I ask again, and I ask with love, with urgency, with the fire of every great man I've ever known behind my words. Which one will you be? Because the moment you decide to develop a positive mental attitude and protect it like your life depends on it, that is the moment your life will begin to shift forever. Let me say this plainly. If you do not master your mind, someone else will. If you do not control your mental attitude, it will be controlled by the news, by comparison, by past trauma, or worse, by people who benefit from your weakness. That's the trap the world sets, but here's what I've learned. You always have a choice. A positive mental attitude is not something you're born with, it's something you claim. You build it, you guard it, and you use it like a weapon. Now listen to me. If you're not intentionally feeding your mind, you are unintentionally poisoning it. And what poisons it most? Repetition of negative thoughts. You keep saying, I don't know how, or I'm not like them, or it's too late, and you know what happens. Your subconscious believes you. That's what autosuggestion is. The conversation you have with yourself when no one's watching. And let me tell you something you already know in your bones. The words you repeat in private become the reality you live in public. You speak weakness, you live weakness. You speak lack, you attract lack. You speak fear, and fear becomes your home address. But if you flip the script, if you say instead, this setback is temporary, this fear is not me, I am here for a reason and I will see it through, then your mind will begin to turn. Not right away, not easily, but it will. Let me ask you something right now, and don't answer too fast. I want you to really think about it. What is controlling your mind today? Are you driven by desire, or are you pulled around by doubt? Are your thoughts based on your vision or your memory? Because most people live trapped in loops. They think they're stuck because of life, but they're stuck because they keep replaying the same thought patterns over and over again. Your thoughts become your beliefs become your actions, and your actions, they become your life. That is why you must take back dominion over your mental space. You must stop renting it out to fear, to comparison, to failure, to excuses. Fear is a liar and the rent is due. Now let's talk about drift. Drift is subtle. Drift doesn't hit you like failure. Drift lulls you into mediocrity. You stop growing. You scroll instead of studying. You complain instead of creating. You listen to your fears instead of commanding your future. And you tell yourself, I'll get to it. But drift is dangerous because it doesn't look dangerous. The man who drifts has no fire. He has no definite aim. He wakes up and lets the world tell him what to do, and I'll tell you where that leads. Regret. Because one day, the drifter wakes up and realizes he's run out of time. He's built a life out of avoidance instead of action. Let me be blunt. If you do not have a burning purpose, you are drifting. If you are not directing your days, you are drifting. If you are waiting for clarity before you take action, you are already losing the war in your mind. Now here's the good news, because I didn't come here just to warn you. I came to remind you of your power. The moment you become aware of the drift, the moment you catch yourself feeding fear, that moment is sacred. That moment is the invitation. Because once you see the lie, you can reject it. Once you catch the drift, you can steer the ship. Once you hear the voice of doubt, you can answer with discipline. And that's where we go next. Are you ready? Let me now reveal a truth most people ignore. What you repeat, you become. Not what you hope for, not what you read once in a book. What you repeat. See, the mind doesn't respond to inspiration alone. It responds to installation. You can listen to 1,000 motivational speeches, watch every interview with every billionaire, and write your goals on your mirror in red lipstick every morning. But if you're not repeating the beliefs you need, if you're not installing the patterns that match your purpose, then your attitude is a wish, not a weapon. Here's how the greats did it. Carnegie, Edison, Ford, Schwab. They conditioned. Their minds, like athletes, condition their bodies. I'm telling you, mental attitude isn't a feeling, it's a habit. They woke up and told their minds how to behave. They told their day what it was going to become. And they did it again, and again, and again. Because repetition doesn't just change behavior, it rewires identity. Let me say that again. Repetition is how belief becomes biology. It moves what you know in your head into what you believe in your bones. Now listen, you don't have to believe it right away. You just have to begin saying it. That's what autosuggestion really means, speaking truth to yourself before the world has a chance to lie to you. Most people speak with no intention. They say things like, I'm tired. I'm just not that kind of person. That's not realistic. I can't do that. I never catch a break. And then they wonder why their life doesn't change. But the successful man, the man who rewrites his destiny, he understands this. Your words are spells. Your thoughts are commands. Your mouth is the doorway to your mind. So if you want to change your attitude, start with your language. Get up in the morning and speak like this. I command my thoughts today. My purpose is greater than my pain. I attract the resources I need. No excuse lives in me today. Say it out loud, not once, not twice, but until your nervous system starts to believe it. That's not fake, that's programming. Do you think athletes become champions by waiting to feel like a champion? No, they train like one until their mind catches up. And here's what's wild. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a truth and a lie. It just listens to repetition. So if you repeat garbage, fear, lack, weakness, that's what it installs. If you repeat power, purpose, clarity, faith, that's what it builds. Let me give you an example. The man who says every morning, I never get a break, I don't have what it takes, I'm tired, is digging his own psychological grave. He may smile on the outside, but on the inside he is weakening the one thing he needs to rise, his mind. Now imagine another man. Same job, same challenges, same setbacks. But every day he says, I will not be defeated. Today I command progress. I am responsible, I am ready, I am rising. Over time, which man do you think becomes unstoppable? The second one, every time. Why? Not because he had more talent, not because he had more opportunity, because he rehearsed greatness until his subconscious started believing it was normal. Let me make this even simpler for you. You are either programming your mind or you're being programmed by the world. And if you want to develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude, you have to take charge of your input. That means no more passive scrolling, no more 24/7 bad news diet, no more letting mediocre minds speak into your dream. You got to get serious about your sources. If it doesn't build you, why are you listening? If it doesn't remind you of who you are, why are you feeding on it? You can't build a powerful mind on weak messages. Every morning, your attitude is on the line, and what you feed it, what you repeat to it, will determine what kind of man walks out the door. So don't ask yourself, how do I feel today? Ask instead, what will I repeat today until it becomes who I am? Because when your repetition becomes discipline, and your discipline becomes identity. Your attitude becomes unshakable. And that's when you begin to attract what you were chasing. Next, I'll show you the missing piece that almost no one talks about. Self-discipline. Let's go. Let's stop sugarcoating it. There is no powerful mental attitude without personal discipline. You can dream, you can visualize, you can repeat affirmations all day long. But if your habits are undisciplined, your results will always collapse under pressure. I've seen it firsthand. The men I studied, the giants of their time, Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, Charles Schwab, none of them were ruled by emotion. They were ruled by principle. And principle demands discipline. But I'm not naturally disciplined. Neither were they. Discipline isn't a personality trait. It's a decision repeated until it becomes your default setting. You want to know why so many people fail to develop a positive mental attitude? Because every time adversity shows up, they go back to their old patterns. They sleep in instead of showing up. They scroll instead of studying. They complain instead of creating. But hear me, no mindset, no matter how positive, can survive a life ruled by impulse. If your habits are weak, your thinking will follow. Let me give you a truth you won't hear on motivational posters. Attitude without action is fiction. You say you believe in your dream, then your calendar better reflect that. You say you're building a new future, then your habits better be in construction mode. Discipline is what separates those who want it from those who become it. It's the difference between the man who reads to grow and the man who scrolls to escape, between the woman who trains her body and the one who justifies her stagnation, between the entrepreneur who shows up on the hard days and the one who posts quotes about success but never follows through. Let me ask you something. What's one thing you're tolerating right now that's weakening your mental attitude? Be honest. It might be the late nights. It might be the junk input. It might be the people you keep around because it's comfortable. Every time you choose comfort over growth, your attitude shrinks. And every time you choose discipline over excuse, your spirit strengthens. Here's how discipline actually works. It doesn't make things easier. It makes you stronger. You don't get discipline and then act right. You act right until discipline catches up. One more thing, most people think discipline is about punishment. It's not. Discipline is devotion. It's a daily declaration that says, I am loyal to my future, not my feelings. You don't read books because it feels good. You read because a sharp mind is a strong weapon. You don't work out just to look good. You train because a weak body cannot carry a strong vision. You don't stay off distractions just to be productive. You do it because your purpose is too valuable to waste. Let me give you an image. Picture a warrior, not in armor but in sweat, waking up early, training his thoughts before the world has a chance to tell him who he is, sharpening his habits while others hit snooze, feeding on truth while others scroll nonsense. That's the real battlefield. It's not out there, it's in here. And the weapon, it's discipline. Every time you do what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it, your mind gets tougher, more focused, more magnetic. And that attitude, it starts to glow. People will feel it before you even speak. Because discipline radiates. It shows up in how you walk, how you speak, how you command your space. You become the type of person who doesn't beg for opportunities. You earn them with your presence. So here's your challenge. Audit your inputs. Schedule your progress. Replace one weak habit today, just one, with something that fuels your power. Because once you master your habits, you master your focus. And once you master your focus, your mental attitude becomes indestructible. Next up, I'll take you even deeper into a law that will change your entire perspective on pain. The hidden gift of adversity. Let's keep going. Now listen closely. There's a law of life that separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. Every adversity carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Not sometimes, not maybe, always. You want to develop a mind that cannot be broken. Then you must stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is this trying to make of me? You see, most people fold at the first sign of pain. They panic. They curse the struggle. They call it failure. But those who rise, the few who truly break through, understand something deeper. They know adversity is not the end. It's the test before elevation. Think back. The greatest breakthroughs in your life didn't come during calm seasons. They came when the storm hit, when the pressure was unbearable, when the silence was deafening, when the plan fell apart and you had to decide, will I drown or will I rise? You became more in that pain, not less. And that is the seed. Let me give it to you straight. Life isn't against you. Life is training you. Disappointment sharpens your focus. Delay teaches you patience. Loss gives you clarity. Rejection builds resilience. Betrayal forges discernment. The obstacle is the instruction, but only if you see it. If you resist it, you stay stuck. If you resent it, you miss the gift. But if you embrace it, you become something different, something harder to knock down. Look at the greats. Every one of them faced hell before they held success. Carnegie was born into poverty. Edison failed 1,000 times before the light bulb. Lincoln lost election after election before becoming president. They didn't just survive adversity, they transformed through it. And so can you. Here's how you start. 1. Stop naming things failure. Call them feedback. Call them refining. But don't call them defeat unless you've decided to stay down. 2. Train your mind to interpret pain as preparation. Every time something hits you, say out loud, "This is building me. This is shaping me. This is for my future, not against it." You say that enough times with conviction, and your nervous system starts responding differently. You don't freeze, you focus. 3. Write down every struggle you've endured in your life. Next to each one, list what you gained from it, even if it's just a lesson, a boundary, or proof that you survived. That's your inventory of power. Look at it often. Let it remind you, if I've come this far, I can go further. Now here's the mistake most people make. They try to avoid adversity at all costs. They look for comfort instead of meaning. But comfort is not your friend. It dulls your edge. It softens your will. It keeps your power asleep. Only adversity demands your evolution. So instead of praying for easy days, ask for strong shoulders. Ask for clear eyes. Ask for a mind that doesn't flinch when everything falls apart. Why? Because when life realizes you can't be broken by adversity, it hands you opportunity. That's the trade. Struggle then strength. Storm then stability. Disaster then destiny. You have to walk through the fire to become the flame. Let me wrap this section with a challenge. Next time something goes wrong, a setback, a delay, a loss, I want you to smile, not because you like pain, but because you recognize the process. Say out loud, "Here comes my next seed, and I'm ready to grow." This is how unbreakable mental attitudes are built. In the furnace, under pressure, with eyes forward and fists clenched in resolve. Now let's take this power one step further. In the next section, I'll show you how to protect your mind like a fortress. We're not done yet, keep going. If you've made it this far, then you already understand. Your mindset is your foundation. But a foundation can crack if the environment around it is toxic. So let's make this real clear. You must protect your mental environment like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Let me ask you, what do you feed your mind daily? Who gets to speak into your soul? What words echo in your ears when you're tired, overwhelmed, or doubting? See, most people guard their bank accounts tighter than their minds. They'd never let a thief into their home, but they let negative people, media, and self-sabotaging thoughts move into their heads rent-free. That ends today, because if you want an unbreakable mental attitude, you need to understand this principle. Environment is stronger than will. Let me say that again. Environment is stronger than will. You might have the best intentions, but if you're surrounded by people who gossip, complain, and dwell on fear, it won't be long before their weakness becomes yours. Let's be blunt. If your closest friends have no vision, you'll start doubting yours. If the content you consume is full of outrage, fear, distraction, your peace will evaporate. If the voice in your head is repeating your failures instead of your future, you will go nowhere fast. So how do you fix it? You audit your input. You guard your gates. Start here. 1. The people gate. You don't need critics in your inner circle. You don't need energy vampires. You don't need friends who smile to your face and doubt your dreams behind your back. You need people who speak life into you. People who tell you the truth, not just what's comfortable. People who challenge you to level up. If someone consistently drains your energy, they're too expensive to keep around. Choose wisely, because the people around you shape your standards. 2. The content gate. What do you listen to when no one's watching? Is it noise, nonsense, or nourishment? You think watching 3 hours of reality TV won't affect your goals. You think scrolling social media filled with anger, comparison, and chaos won't poison your spirit. Think again. Your eyes and ears are the front door to your subconscious. Feed your mind the way a warrior trains his body. Listen to greatness. Read wisdom. Immerse yourself in excellence until your standards rise without trying. Replace junk input with power input. Every time you do, your mind grows stronger, and a strong mind makes strong decisions. 3. The self-talk gate. This is the most dangerous one. No enemy outside of you can defeat the voice you obey inside you. Let me repeat that. No enemy outside can break you like the enemy within. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't, I'm tired, I'm not enough," you don't entertain it, you interrupt it. Stop that thought like a criminal at your door. Replace it with something stronger. "I may be tired, but I'm not done. I've handled worse and still stood. This moment is not my definition. It's my preparation." Talk to yourself like you're someone worth fighting for, because you are. Now some will call this toxic positivity. Ignore them. This isn't fantasy. This is mental survival. You wouldn't leave your body exposed to poison, so don't leave your mind open to it either. Set boundaries like a general sets up defenses. Wake up and feed your mind like it's sacred. Midday, check your emotional temperature. What's entering your space? At night, review, did I protect my energy? Did I guard my gates? You want to develop an unshakable mindset. Then stop waiting for the world to be safe. Make your mind your sanctuary. One more thing before we close this section. If someone mocks your commitment to mindset, if they scoff at your discipline, if they say you're trying too hard, understand this. That's not criticism. That's confirmation that you're growing beyond them. Keep growing anyway, because one day they'll ask how you did it, and you'll smile not out of pride but out of purpose, and say, "I built my mind like a fortress, and nothing got in unless it belonged." Now you're ready for the next level. Up next, we sharpen the blade even further. If your mind is your fortress, then self-discipline is the gatekeeper. Without it, everything you've built can fall apart. With it, even in chaos, you remain unshaken. Let me be absolutely clear. There is no unbreakable attitude without unshakable discipline. People like to talk about mindset, but mindset without action is delusion. Hope without habits is a setup for heartbreak. So let's talk straight, because the world doesn't care how inspired you are. It responds to what you do. Self-discipline is doing what must be done, even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged, even when no one is watching or clapping. That is the standard. And here's the truth I need you to understand. The man who cannot govern himself will always be ruled by circumstance. Let me ask you, do you scroll when you should study? Do you snack when you should train? Do you complain when you should create? Because these small choices become your character. You're not weak, you're just undisciplined, and discipline can be built. Let me tell you what I learned from the greats. The Carnegies, the Fords, the Edisons. They didn't wake up motivated. They woke up committed. They weren't addicted to ease. They were obsessed with impact. And they did not hope for structure. They created it. So let's stop with the myths. You don't need more motivation, a better morning routine, perfect circumstances. You need a decision. One decision repeated until it becomes automatic. Start here. 1. Create non-negotiables. Don't make 100 decisions a day. Make 3 that are set in stone. For example, I train every day at 7 a.m., no matter how I feel. I don't consume media before 10 a.m. My mind comes first. I speak one affirmation aloud every morning to own my mindset. These become rituals, and rituals remove the option to quit. Because when life gets hard, and it will, discipline is what keeps you moving. 2. Track something daily. Don't aim for perfection, aim for consistency. You want to shift your identity, track it. Mark the days you kept your word. Measure the hours you created instead of consuming. Track the days you said no to comfort and yes to growth. Why? Because what gets tracked gets trained. Your brain learns. This is who I am now. And suddenly, the actions become automatic. 3. Do the hard thing first. Every day, there's one thing you avoid. That call, that workout, that writing, that truth. Attack it first, because when you conquer the hardest task early, the rest of the day bows in submission. This is how warriors think. The obstacle is not the enemy. It's the arena where I sharpen my will. 4. Reward progress, not perfection. Perfection is a lie. Discipline doesn't mean you never fail. It means you keep showing up after failure. So when you slip, forgive fast and refocus. Don't romanticize your weakness. Discipline is not about punishing yourself. It's about loving yourself enough to do what matters even when it's hard. Now listen closely. Some people will say, "You're too intense. You should relax more. You don't have to be so obsessed." They don't understand, and they don't need to, because you understand this truth. The life you want is on the other side of who you're becoming, and you're not becoming a slave to comfort. You're becoming a master of consistency. One more truth. Discipline is contagious. When you rise early, others will notice. When you stop complaining, others will question. When you live with intention, you raise the temperature in the room. You won't even have to preach. Your habits will speak for you. That's influence. That's legacy. That's power. Now I'll leave you with this. You are not your urges. You are your commitments. You are not here to be ruled by appetite, impulse, or emotion. You are here to be so clear, so committed, and so consistent that even chaos can't compete with your peace. Discipline is not punishment. It is power, and it is yours if you claim it. You've guarded the gates. You've chosen your circle. Now you've picked up your sword, daily discipline. In next section, your chief aim, making purpose a weapon. We'll talk about the final piece that turns all this effort into destiny. Ready when you are. Now that you've built the inner fortress, let me hand you the sword. A definite chief aim, not a goal, not a wish, not a maybe one day idea, but a fixed, burning, non-negotiable purpose. Let me speak plainly. A man without purpose is a man who drifts, and drifting is the fastest path to defeat. The world is full of intelligent, talented people who never become anything because they never decide what to become. They dabble, they wonder, they wish, but they never commit. Your purpose must become an identity, not something you do, but something you are. A clear purpose is not just a light, it's a laser. It focuses your time. It slashes through excuses. It turns "I'm tired" into "I must." Ask yourself now, and ask it brutally. What am I truly aiming for? And do my habits prove it? Because if your answer is vague, your results will be too. Let me tell you what I saw in every titan I studied. They had a vision. They recited it every morning. They let it fuel every action. Carnegie didn't kind of want wealth, he declared it. Edison didn't sort of want to invent, he claimed it. Ford didn't halfway believe in his idea, he bet everything on it. Why? Because when your purpose is a maybe, your effort is a maybe. When it's a must, your energy obeys. So let's get concrete. How to build your chief aim. 1. Write it as if it already exists. I am the most trusted voice in my field. I built a business that funds freedom for my family. I wake up every day with peace, passion, and direction. 2. Tie it to a reason bigger than comfort. Purpose that serves only you dies early. Purpose that serves others becomes immortal. 3. Speak it daily with fire. Not like a wish, like a command. I am this, I live this, I refuse anything less. 4. Align your actions to it. Don't just say it, prove it with what you do when no one is watching. You want to know what separates the top 1%. It's not money, not opportunity, not luck. It's clarity. Clarity creates momentum. Momentum becomes consistency, and consistency becomes power. Your definite aim must become so alive inside you that nothing external can talk you out of it. Fear can't, fatigue can't, failure can't. And yes, people will misunderstand you. They'll say, "You've changed. You're too obsessed. You should be more realistic." Let them talk, because you didn't come here to be understood. You came here to be undeniable. Purpose turns pain into progress. Let me tell you why a chief aim matters more than anything. Because storms will come. Because life will hit you. Because motivation will run out. And when it does, only your aim will keep you moving. Pain without purpose breaks people. Pain with purpose builds warriors. So if you're suffering right now, good. Let that suffering light your fire. Aim it like a weapon. Say, "This setback is fuel. This hardship is training. I know what I want, and I'm coming for it." You know what your aim also gives you? Protection. Because when you know what you're about, you stop wasting time on what you're not. You say no faster. You cut distractions quicker. You leave dead things behind without guilt. You stop being a prisoner to every demand, every detour, every person's opinion. Purpose frees you. Purpose guides you. Purpose hardens your resolve. Now hear me. Don't just make a vision board. Don't just write pretty quotes. Make a vow. This is who I will become. This is what I will build. And nothing inside me or around me will talk me out of it. That vow becomes a contract. And that contract becomes a compass. And when your attitude, your discipline, and your aim all align, you become a force this world cannot deny. Now you're ready. In the final section, I'll show you how to tie it all together into a life that doesn't just succeed, it echoes. Final integration, living unbreakable in a breakable world. So now you stand here, equipped with the mindset, forged in purpose, fired by clarity, built on discipline, and ready to carry it all out into a noisy, fragile, distracted world. Let me ask you a simple question. What kind of person do you want to be when pressure hits? Because it will. Life doesn't wait for your schedule. The world doesn't pause for your dreams. Distractions don't ask permission. So the real question becomes, can you hold the line? Can you live this attitude daily? Not just when it's easy, but when everything feels like it's breaking. This is what separates temporary motivation from permanent transformation. You don't just build an unbreakable positive mental attitude once. You live it over and over like armor you choose to wear every morning. You want to win, then turn your principles into practices. Every single day, you start your day feeding your mind, not your feed. You speak power before the world speaks fear. You set your focus before someone else steals your time. You train your emotions like you train your body, daily, intentionally, relentlessly. Don't wait to feel inspired. Create structure that makes inspiration unnecessary. Because emotion fades, systems endure. When negativity knocks, you don't entertain it. You recognize, reject, and replace. You say, that thought, it's not me. That fear, it's not fact. That distraction, it's not worth my attention. Your inner world becomes sacred ground. No garbage enters, no weakness stays. You feed it with truth, high vision, clear goals, conviction, and radical responsibility. That's not positivity, that's warrior psychology. Let me get brutally practical with you. What does an unbreakable attitude look like in your day? It looks like this. 1. Morning command rituals. 5 minutes of powerful affirmations. 5 minutes visualizing your definite purpose. 5 minutes reading or listening to truth. 2. Environmental curation. Unfollow noise. Mute mediocrity. Surround yourself with vision-driven people. 3. Decision discipline. Say no fast. Act without delay. Choose what builds, not what comforts. 4. Evening audit. Did I lead my mind today? Did I drift or decide? What will I improve tomorrow? These aren't just productivity hacks. They're identity rituals. Every repetition chisels you into a person who does not break, who does not beg, who does not betray their potential for temporary ease. You are the system now. Here's the truth you must hold tight. The world will always offer drama. Your job is to offer direction. The world will sell fear. Your job is to breathe vision. The world will distract you with small things. Your job is to fight for the big things. Because once you live from an unbreakable place, you stop needing to react, and you start learning to lead. Lead your time. Lead your thinking. Lead your circle. Lead your life. You're not waiting for approval. You're not asking for motivation. You're not checking if others believe in you yet. You've already decided. Let's make it plain. You want to change your life. Build a daily mental attitude so solid that nothing rattles you. Speak power into your own spirit louder than the world speaks doubt. Write your vision in stone, then walk toward it like no one can stop you. Train your mind like a soldier trains for battle, and refuse to live by default when you were born to lead by design. The moment you do this, you become different. Your eyes look different. Your walk changes. Your silence starts to feel louder than their noise. That's the power of this mindset, and that's the life that's waiting for you. You don't need permission. You don't need ideal conditions. You need decision. And if you make it today, not just to think positive, but to live unbreakable, then I promise you, life will never look the same again. So say it one more time with me and mean it. I am unshakable. I am unstoppable. I am unbreakable. And now go live like it. Remember, your success begins the moment you decide to act.